Welcome to my channel, KLWGJewellery. Hi, I'm Kel. Welcome subscribers, new subscribers and people that just popped in to watch. If you could please like, comment, share and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you are notified when I release new videos or go live. I would be grateful, especially if you like the video, because that makes it definitely all the better. So today, as you can see, we are doing a loom project. This is my big bulky loom because I haven't yet bought my dual loom. So we are going to be using some hemp cord. So we're going to be using this top one that is a variegated green and cream cord. It doesn't that rhyme a bit? Green and cream. We're going to be using this wood 2-hole button that's got like this flower pattern on in a dark colour. So we're going to be using that. So we got that. We're going to be using from the Bargain Bead Box key lime pie set some 8mm Laschen agate dyed round beads, and they were $8.99, and we're going to be using 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going to be using 12 of them. And we're going to be using wildfire. We're going to be using 2 wingspans of that. It'll probably be less than that, but I pulled 2 wingspans off. And we're going to be using that in this lovely light green. It looks a little darker on the roll, but when you've got it off the roll, it's actually really quite light. And I'm using a big eye needle. So what that looks like when you actually have it, when it hasn't got the stuff in, right, is it's just a standard needle. Because I can't thread a needle at all, I can't see it. Right, so basically it opens up like that, and you just thread your beading cord, so to say, through it. Also, I've got a beading awl, because I'm going to put 2 knots in next to the button, one 1 inch away from the button, one 2 inches away from the button. Right, I've also got a pair of scissors for cutting my far line, and I'm going to be cutting right at the back here to actually get the good cut mark, because no offence, my scissors really need sharpening, or I need a better pair of scissors. Right, and I've just got some extra needles in case I break my needle. Right, these are the actual buttons. They're just wooden buttons, 50 pack from Make and Create, which are from the works in the United Kingdom. So this is where I got them from, but I'm sure you can get something similar wherever you're based. So it's just something like that. You get them in like a range of colours. You can get them in light, dark, medium colours. So you've got that. So that's about it. So let's get making, shall we? So let's get our button and let's get our hemp cord. So we're going to pull off the hemp cord. Which I may end up leaving on the card until I actually need to cut it. Alright, we're going to feed the button. No, I'm going to have to cut it, I've just realised that, so I can tie the knots. How soft am I? So we're going to feed it through, and feed it through, back through. Which you may end up having to cut the end of your cord just to get it back through. Just cut it on like a sharp angle. Alright, now just pull it up on the one side so you can get it the length that you need. Just pull it through, because you've got to have enough for your buttonhole on the opposite end. So you do really need to pull quite a bit through. Right, so I've pulled quite a bit through. So as you can see, I've pulled probably about an arm span, a wingspan and a bit. So I will give you a specific measurement if you give me a second. When I find my tape measure. Oh, you will also need a tape measure, which can be kind of helpful. So, I basically pulled off I'm just trying to keep this under the camera, which, might I add, is not the easiest. I pulled off just over 60 inches, so I'd probably say about 60. Let me hold that there and go back down to the other end all the way. And now we've got it. Bit of a trip. About 67 inches is what I pulled off. So now I'm going to need the tape measure again, even though I've just lobbed it all the way over the other side of the table. I'm just going to move this out of the way. We're going to go to about an inch down. And we're going to tie a knot. And then after the inch down, we're going to go to the 2-inch down mark and tie another knot. This time I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to pull the cord through. I'm going to pull that long cord through. So there we go. If you struggle with knots, you can use your beading awl for that. So now we've got that. To keep this on here, I tend to find twisting the button on. So just having it on a bit of a twist. So I'm just giving knots a bit of a tug so that my cords are straight. So now I'm going to pull them down, and I'm just going to check how wide I need my beads and my how far I need them apart, which can be a bit of a task. Sorry, my fingers are in the way. So you probably need them apart by about four, 3 or 4. Then come down to the other end, have them apart by about 3 or 4, which is easier done on one end than it is the other because of the knot. Which, if you want, you can actually put this on one side of the knot, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the knot on that side, so I've got a bit more saving grace. There we go. And double check the size gap. Yep. So you want them about 3 apart. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come to the other end, and you're just going to tie a simple knot that's easy to come apart when you're finished. Sorry about the shaking. I suffer shakes these days. So all I'm doing is I'm pulling the cord through and pulling it up, and then I'm just going to tie a light knot that I can undo at the end. Because the advantages about these ones is you can twist the bar to undo the knot. So I've not pulled it tight, I've just done it loosely. So now we are going to get our needle and that very, 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 very long piece of cord. We are going to start on the other side of the bar, which you usually wouldn't do. Pull your cord down until you've got about 20 inches of tail left over. You're going to go under one cord, and then you're going to go over the other, and then you're going to go back under that cord and back over the other. And you're going to do this a few times to anchor it, preferably without getting hooked around everything, which is what I've just done. Honestly, when you're working with such a long cord, you get hooked around absolutely everything. So this is the only problem. I'm going to get rid of this mat because it is causing me havoc, and I mean absolute havoc. Because I'm slipping and sliding. I'm going to readjust my cords on this end in a second when I've finished doing this, because I've got to lift them up anyway to go back under here. So now I've anchored that, I'm going to lift up my cords to come back under here and to be on the other side. Alright, so everything is lying underneath where the railing is, where this little bar is. So everything I've just done is under the bar, so I can get as close to the bar as possible to work because of how I've anchored it. So now we need to go under the bar, add on a bead, pull all the way through, I'm going to work this way so that you can see what I'm doing and I can see what I'm doing. We're not going to be going down very far, but we're going to be going back and forth quite a bit to secure these because of the size of the hole and how thin this is. So you push the bead up, you're going to go back through the hole over the top of your cords. So just like this. Sorry if I bounced you about. So over the top. Trying to see if I can show you a way. You see how that's over the top of the cords? Let me see if I can pull you down so you can see this. There we go. So you're going to go over the top of the cords, pull through, guide your cord so your cord doesn't end up getting knotted or going everywhere. Give it a good tug so it situates. Now go back underneath the cords, guiding your cord again, giving it a good tug so that your cords aren't loose, and then go back over the top again. This will help fill the hole, because as you can see, now I'm trying to go back over the top, the hole's already quite filled, and your bead's quite situated. As you see, it doesn't move much. Alright, so ready for the next one. So undo your cord by adding your bead. Situate your bead. Go back over the top of the cords, so your needle's on top of your cords. As you can see, I can bounce my cords. Just give me a second, I'm just trying not to knock something off my side, because otherwise you'd hear a massive crash. Right, just give me a second, I've got a knot in my cords. Don't just tug your cords if you've got a knot. Get your knot out. Right, now pull your cords through. Right, give them a bit of a tug to make sure they're well situated. Go back under your cords while guiding your cords through. Give quite a bit of a tug, and then go back over the top of your cords. And this will pretty well secure a 1mm whole bead. Oh, sorry, that went off camera. I do apologise. Honestly, everything slides on this table. So again, add your bead, pull through without taking your scissors with you. Right, back to the usual progression of things. Alright, so situate your bead up, go back through the hole, over the top, pull your cord in, pull your fire line or wildfire, because you can use wildfire for this. Alright, then back underneath, and then back over the top. So I hope you're all having a good week and ready for the weekend. Alright, and give it a tug. So this is what it looks like so far. Alright, your sides are pretty neat. And that's it. And as you see, you've got your button. So that's basically what we've got to keep doing. So we're only going to do about 12 inches of beading. 12 inches, sorry. 12 beads, which is 4 inches of beading. Honestly, I'd go crazy if I actually got my words right. So pulling it through underneath again, and then going over the top. Holding it in place and pulling out far through, or far line, as I've always said. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back on that a bit because it's loose on the other side. And then I'm going to pull down on it. And then I'm going to go back underneath. Make sure I'm still in camera range, because I don't want to go off camera. So back underneath. I'm making sure I'm not tangled. Which, as I've said that, I've just tangled around me nut of my screw head. So pull that back over the top. Which is always a little tighter when you go back over the top for the second time. And of course, because everything's sort of tangled round everything, it's a lot harder. Especially when you're towards the beginning. Because you've got all these here and this on either end. It's a lot harder because all this gets tangled round it. So again, underneath. Oh, I'm sure I'm going to have to eat something after this because I'm really hungry. I haven't had any breakfast. Oh, I seem to have a knot. This stuff can get knotted really easily. Right, grab my needle and unknot this before it gets really tight. There we go. Right, now work out where all my underneath. Untangled that, push it up against your beads, go back over the top, through the hole and over both cords, back underneath, and back over the top. And then get your next bead. So underneath your cords. So it's quite a repetitive action, but with very beautiful results. I mean, it's a very beautiful bracelet. You can make this with one cord like I'm doing, or you can make it with 2, 3, 4. You can make it the width of the loom if you wish. But in this case, I'm just making a single strand bracelet. Just because I had limited beads. I will admit that, I had limited beads, and I just wanted a single strand bracelet in just this one colour of the gemstones that I had. So far we've got 2 inches of beadwork. So this is what it looks like so far with the 2 inches of beadwork. And now we're going to start on the next 3 inches of beadwork. So we've only got, this will be our last 2 inches that we've got to do. So back over the top of the cords. Always remember to pull tight, otherwise it looks messy on the sides. So our next bead, so grab a needle, which is trying to do an escape act. So over the top. If you've got smaller bead holes for what you're using, unlike these that I'm using here, which are gemstones with larger bead holes, you can always just go through them once. So if you're using something like check glass, you can just go through them once. Or if you're using like really small crystals. Alright, so now our last 3 beads. So again, under the warp with the bead, over the top of the warp, because this here is the warp, and what we're doing here with this is the weft. Oh, another knot. This stuff knots like nobody's business. I am just going to let it out a bit actually. So just give me a sec. All you have to do to let it out is pull it up on your needle and just let it out a bit and then pull it back down. That's all you have to do to let it out on these needles. So again, push it up, go through the bead hole over the top, back underneath, and back over the top. I've been sat there watching the basement tapes from the Osbournes because I loved Ozzy Osbourne. I'm really sad that I never got to see the beginning of the end, which was Ozzy Osbourne's final concert in his hometown of Birmingham, which is pretty local to me because I'm in Wolverhampton. I'm about 40 miles away from Birmingham. It's only 15 minutes on the train from me, and I'm really sad at the loss of Ozzy Osbourne. And he was a brilliant artist. He got me through some of my darkest times of my childhood. They were dark to me. I had a really good childhood, but they just seemed dark to me, because of what I was going through with my mental health, and Ozzy, he was a great musician, and I truly loved his music, and I still do to this day. I love playing Ozzy Osbourne, especially if I'm sat working out a design to show you guys here on YouTube. I love playing his music, I really do, and I'm really sad that I missed that concert. I'm really sad I missed it, because I would have just loved to have watched Ozzy in concert, because it's something I've never got to do, and sadly I will never get to do, and I've never been able to watch Black Sabbath in concert either. So I'm kind of grieving the loss of a great artist. It's the same as I never got to see Michael Jackson in concert. I know there's a lot of controversy around Michael Jackson, right? But it doesn't mean that his music wasn't great. He was a great musician. He may have been problematic with what happened, but it doesn't mean that his music wasn't great. So here we go. I'm going to zoom out. So this is what we've got, which is 4 inches beads. Right. Well, just slightly over 4 inches. It's 4 inches and an eighth. Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to unpick the start here. Right, because that's got to be weaved in. Which always is a pain to do. Especially when you've done it the way I did it. And especially when you have to tell the length I left it. Because I prefer to leave a longer tail. So there we go, that's that unpicked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go up through the wefts on the side. Right, so sometimes you might come out the bottom. Right, so do that, and then I'm going to go through the bead. This is going to be a lot of me turning the loom around. Then I'm going to go and try and go up the weft on this side. See where the needle comes out on this one. And go back through. Then go up the weft again. It's a lot of wiggling, especially if you've done them tight like I have. And then pull through again. And go through. And I'm going to go up the weft one more time. And go up to the next one. Oh, come on, pull through. I think I have a knot in my in my fire line. No, I don't. Right, so I'm going to cut that off there, right up against the cord, and then I'm going to put the needle on the other end. So now I'm going to come out at this end, open up the needle so you can actually see how I put these on the needle. So open it up, put it through. So all I've done is I've put it through the needle. I'm just going to pull a bit and then do that and put it down. So that's all it is. So we're going to go down the weft and down the side of the wefts, if I can get it done. Oh, I'll just pull that back out. Go on to the next one. I have them on camera. And then go through. go down the side of the whips again. Sorry if I'm knocking the holder about. It's got my phone on it. You may just have to do them one at a time and go to the opposite side if it's too tight. And you could always go underneath the warps. Then I'm going to go through this one and I'm going to cut it off. Well, I'm going to try and go through the weft and then cut it off. There we go. Then cut it really close. There we go. So now we can take this off the other end. What I'm going to do to take it off the other end, I'm just going to rotate my bar and just take it off. So this is what we've got. Alright. So now we need to work out the size of the hole we need, but first we need to tie knots. So tie your knots by pulling your cords through, working your cord down. Don't put it too close to your beads, but close enough, about the same distance apart as it is on the other end. So now you want to get your button. Oh, sorry, I'm slightly off camera there. Get your button, put your button in. You want it up against your button, so you want it about there. So again, tie your knots. Pull your knot down, but before you totally tighten your knot, put your button in. It's see my knot's miles off. So I'm going to get my beading mat back, because no offence, it's easier to do this on the beading mat. So put your button in, put your beading ball in the hole, and then pull your, this is fiddly today, I just ain't got the dexterity to do this today. Pull your knot down towards your button. And there you go. So your button slips in nicely, but it doesn't come out when you wear it. So if I put this on now, right, it's got enough tension that it won't come out, but it's loose enough. This is size for a man, right? So all you can do, you can put tassels on it. If it's for a man, I wouldn't. I'd just cut it off. Alright, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo it, and I'm going to put knots on the end of the cord. Alright. The reason to put knots on the end of the cord is so it doesn't fray. So if you want this for a woman, right, you're advised to not have this length here, just have this knot here, and do this on the jewel loom, right, and just bead straight from there, and just bead straight up. So for this, you're just going to get your cord, pull it straight through, and pull your knots all the way down. And then once you've done that, just trim it off. Alright, so this is about I think it's about an 8-inch bracelet. Yeah, it's about an 8-inch bracelet. So that's what it is. I know it's showing on here as a 9-inch, but you think when you've got that in your buttonhole, that takes up a whole inch. So that's about an 8-inch bracelet. So thank you for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed the making of this loom bracelet, and I hope you'll please like, comment, share and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I release new videos or go live. And I'll release new videos again soon. So thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.